Hey cousin, so I said I was gonna make a video for you. And what I want to do is just kind of go over, I'm hoping I can do this in an organized fashion. I just want to go over kind of the steps of homeschooling. You're gonna have a whole lot of help from Miss Blackwell. This video might not even be necessary, but I said I was gonna do it and I want to do it just so it's something that you can actually have to like go back, look at, you know, um, and I'm trying to do this in a short amount of time. So, and just know this, like, any questions you have, you can always call me, text me, ask me, and I will help you to the best of my ability. And of course, also, uh, you know, I reach out to Wendy all the time. Wendy is a great resource. Miss Blackwell sounds like she is going to be a great resource as well. So you got support. Don't ever forget that. You have got support. In my opinion, Gabby should never go back into the public school system. I don't feel that there's anything there for her unless you find that they've got some kind of program at Richland Northeast or some school up there that you can't find anywhere. And you have no doubt in your mind that she's going to benefit from that. Or if the Lord tells you, put her back, I just don't think she needs to be back in the public school system. Um, that is my opinion. Miss Blackwell may have a different opinion. Wendy may have a different opinion. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But that's my opinion because once you understand the concept and the beauty of homeschooling, I mean, honestly, you just don't want to go back. I mean, you have so much of an option, and I want to encourage you. It's you and Gabby, okay? It's just you and Gabby right now. You've got all the time in the world. You have so much time to focus on not just her academic education, but just her overall. What am I trying to say? Opening up opportunities and experiences for her that will be learning experiences. You have an opportunity to create learning experiences for her. And when I say that we were programmed, okay? Growing up, we were programmed. We went through school a certain way. And so because of that, we were programmed to see school as a certain way. I'm sure you know this, but that's not the only way to learn. And a part of what I know I went through is trying to be deprogrammed from what was normal to me. I could not wrap my mind around the fact that in South Carolina, I have the authority and I have the freedom to school my children as I see fit. And anyway, it took a while for me to get that. But one of the biggest things I want you to remember is that you have the authority to shape your child's education. And don't ever forget that. So, anyway, so the first step is accountability. We've already done that. But just so you understand this, there are three options in South Carolina. There are three options for homeschooling in South Carolina. One, the first option is homeschool under the authority of the district. Okay, so um, you would still be accountable to the district, accountable to doing everything that they require. All right. The second option is with an organization called, we call it SCAES, but it is South Carolina Association of Independent Homeschoolers. This was the first organization that was created when homeschooling became legal in South Carolina. They are not the district, but they do require a good deal of accountability, meaning turning in paperwork and things like that. They require more than your third option choice. And the third option is to become a member of any one of the probably over 50 now accountability organizations that are registered in South Carolina. And so You are under the third option because you signed up with Chase, which is Wendy Graham. You signed up with Chase. Um, she is a registered accountability organization in South Carolina. So this is for you to know in case somebody questions you about this. So I guess I'm wanting you to have this information. And honestly, homeschooling is not secret. Okay, you don't have to keep this in secret. You're homeschooling your child. You have every right and all of the authority to homeschool your child. So this is not something that you have to keep a secret in any way. If people ask you about it because they don't understand it, this is the information that you can give them. Okay, you are homeschooling under the third option in South Carolina. That is, you are registered with an accountability organization and you give an account to them. Every accountability organization is different. They require different things. Chase is one of the organizations that don't really require a whole lot. They basically ask you to make, um, to at the end of the year file a oh my gosh, I can't find my words. File a compliant form, meaning you're going to go online and you are going to go through the compliant form that says you were compliant legally, doing everything you were supposed to be doing. You schooled for 180 days, and that's basically the minimum that is required is 180 days that um, your child learned all of the major core subjects: reading, writing, the your English, math, science, history, that you did those things. Now, okay, listen, the way you do that is up to you. Okay, so and I want to get into it a little bit later, but your compliance form is basically saying that you did legally what you were supposed to do. You were not truant. Your child wasn't just sitting around all day long, laying on the couch. There were learning experiences that they had, and basically for a minimum of 180 days. That's what and the other thing that you are required to confirm is that you kept a portfolio of her work, which is like worksheets, samples of writing. You can even be pictures. It could be like pictures, projects that she did, pictures of projects, whatever would be a hard copy to show that she did work. And the fact that you kept attendance, that's another thing that you have to say. You kept attendance. The fact that you did um, formulate a report card halfway through the year and then again at the end of the year. Those are the major compliance items. So it would be that you schooled for 180 days, that you did the major subjects: English, math, science, history, that you kept attendance, that you kept a portfolio of her work. Um, and I just forgot the other thing. If I said something else, I think those are the main things. I think those are the main things, and it'll be laid out. You will get an email from Wendy reminding you to fill out your compliance form. Okay, another thing. So your school year. All right. So for Chase, Wendy starts the school year in June and ends it May of the following year. You are not bound to that schedule. School can be year round for you. It can be from August to June, September to June, whatever it is that you do. If you are going to, if your 180 days will not be finished before May 31st, for Wendy, for Chase, you will fill out an extension. And basically, you're just letting her know we're going to finish on June 9th or whatever it'll be. It's that easy. It's really not hard at all. Um, your school year is not restricted to 180 days. If you want to have a 200-day school year, you can do that. I mean, it's just completely up to you. There are people that school year round. What year round schooling looks like is that you might take periodic breaks within the year. Okay. Some people do 5 weeks on, 1 week off, meaning for 5 weeks they're doing what they officially call school, and then they take like a week vacation, and then they do another 5 weeks like that. Some people school for a while, they take a couple of weeks breaks. I mean, it's just, it really is however you decide to do it. And you can shape your vacations, your trips and things around all of that, or make those vacations and trips school, because learning is always happening all the time. Um, I don't want to forget to go back to that. Learning is happening all the time. So anyway, so that's accountability. I wanted to talk about HSLDA, that is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. You can talk to Wendy about this. There is a fee to join them. And basically, what they are is a team of lawyers that are specifically for homeschooling families all across the United States. And they even help families in other countries. As a matter of fact, that German family that came over here seeking asylum from Germany, from going to jail in Germany because they were homeschooling and it was against the law over there. Um, HSLDA is helping that family. But there is a fee to join. There is a discount if you belong. You can. There's a discount that you can get through your accountability organization. But Wendy also said that in the past, she has paid the fee for some families who couldn't afford to pay the fee for the membership for HSLDA. They even actually, when I was talking to her the other day about you, she went and found um, the section in in the website for HSLDA where they have a help for they have a section for military families, and they also have a sort of a charitable section that if you need help with things, I mean, they might even have help with finances for curriculum. There is a whole network of people that are trying to make homeschooling something that you can do. Okay, whether it's counseling, because they also offer counseling. They also counseling for homeschooling. Whether it's they'll help you choose curriculum, um, and also give you legal advice. Whenever you need it. Excuse me, it's kind of late. But anyway, so that's that. That so that you can get information. It's hslda.org. That's the website. But like I said, you can also ask Wendy about them. Uh, okay, so starting homeschooling, the next step that I want to talk about is exactly what you're going to be doing with Miss Blackwell. You're going to be doing some placement testing for Gabby to see where she falls. And the placement testing is going to help determine what curriculum or what level of curriculum she will need for each of the different subjects. Okay, because as we've talked about before, you can be one grade level for math, a different grade level for English. And listen, this is even homeschooling children from the ground up. It can be this way. I every one of my children have gone through where they've got had a different level of one subject over another because they might have struggled in one subject and excelled in another subject. So that's very normal. It's normal and fine. But you already set up for uh, testing with Miss Blackwell, so that's gonna help you with that. And then once you get finished with the placement testing, the next will be um, curriculum, choosing curriculum. Ms. Blackwell is going to help you do that as well. I can have curriculum suggestions. Ms. Blackwell can have curriculum suggestions. Wendy can have curriculum suggestions. So you'll have some help with that. The other thing I wanted to mention is support groups. So I cannot imagine that there are not support groups up there in Columbia, whether they're military or non-military. There are groups up there, I'm sure, that um, that form a community of homeschooling. And the thing that support groups basically do is they offer like activities and events. A lot of times they plan field trips, or they have clubs. They'll have basically organized activities that they plan on a systematic basis, or kind of like off the cuff, like you might have might have a park day where everybody meets at the park, or they might have like a skate day where they meet to go skating, or they sometimes like I will sometimes they'll have a lot of the same stuff that high schools have or middle schools have. They have daddy daughter dances. They have clubs, like I said before. Some of it you might find some sports in there. You might find homeschool sports teams. Just depends on how organized the support groups are up there. Um, and then next to that also would be co-ops. So a co-op is basically a group of people who get together and they they find a place to meet. It could be a person's home. It could be a church where the church is allowing the group to meet there. Wherever they can find the space, they meet. Some co-ops can be as small as just a few families coming together. Some co-ops can be as large as a whole like building where you have all these different classes and it's just like going to school. And what a co-op is that it is classes. It is where you take classes ranging from electives like cooking, home economics, um, computer programming, to math, English, foreign language, all the the science, chemistry, you name it. It could be anything that you would think of that you could take in a school. Art, theater, music, all that stuff. So co-ops can be very small, or they can be rather large with hundreds of children. Um, so it just sort of depends what's up there. But I also have to believe that there's probably some co-ops around as well. Obviously, you pray about it. You pray about where to go. You pray about who to join, who to connect with. That's very important that you ask Holy Spirit to lead you in that. But that's what co-ops are in the homeschooling community. Um, so obviously you're going to get all of the elementary stuff out the way. Right now, Gabby needs elementary gaps filled in. That's what we're trying to do first. I would suggest to you to keep it simple in that regard. The main goal right now is to get those gaps filled in. You might find a homeschooling community where y'all can still go do things, okay? Have activities, participate in activities, whether it be field trips or whatever. And you can use those field trips, to help Gabby maybe give her writing experiences or give her ability to orally explain what she understood, what she did, putting a speech together so that she practices being well spoken and um, uh, asserting herself when she's trying to make a point or sharing something. Um, so you can use those things in her elementary gap uh, experience when you're filling those gaps in. You can also do those things and use those as ways for her to work on filling those gaps in as well. Once those gaps are filled in and her foundation is set, the world is her oyster, or however you want to call it. There's the world is at her fingertips. There's nothing she can't learn. That is when, okay, she's ready to be a little more independent, and she can look up things and research things. One of the things that I was saying about reading is that when you're with a third grader, when you're with somebody who's third grade, or I would say my children, I really started getting them more independent when they were fourth and fifth grade. Now, I had plenty. I could not be with everybody all at one time. That was really tough. But it's so important that you're there with her, catching her when she's saying words that she doesn't know. And like, you know, what I would say is for a person who's on a third grade level, it is frustrating enough that you're trying to pay attention to say the word right, try not to miss any words, and on top of that, you're trying to understand what you're saying. Making her stop every other word to look something up that she doesn't understand, to me, it just adds to the stress and frustration. Being there with her to correct her when she's saying a word wrong or when she's missing a word so that her brain will catch on, because that's what you're doing. You are programming her brain to catch these mistakes, to recognize these mistakes. Okay. And some of them are very simple. All right. Not everything is a big, huge word. But when you're doing that, you're training her brain, okay, to catch some of these things. And as she begins to do better, flow better, read better, understand better, and she's flowing, she's on a higher reading level, then I would say then she's not going to have the same amount of mistakes, or the amount of times that she needs to be corrected. It won't be the same. It will be less, which then, of course, she will be able to stop every now and again, look up a word, see what that word means, and then get back to study rather than being constantly interrupted, having to look up a word. And so the flow of whatever she's reading is constantly being interrupted because she has to stop, look up that word, stop, look up that word. And the whole meaning of everything is lost because she's trying so hard to try to look up stuff that she doesn't understand. So that's why I would say being there with her while she's on this lower reading level and walking her through that, making her correct herself when she says something wrong, when she mispronounces or whatever, being right there to answer questions for her, um, and working her to where she's increasing her ability to read and understand and increasing the level that she's on. That makes to me makes sense. Now, somebody else might tell you something else. I will defer to Wendy and Miss Blackwell if they say something different. At the same time, this is your child, and no matter what we can give you advice, but you're going to be the one working with her, and so you will be the one seeing what's happening in real time. I'll finish this up another time. See ya.